Hello, everyone. This is Reverend Ken Wilcox of the Center for Spiritual Living here in beautiful St. Augustine, Florida. So, I have a story I'd like to share with you, and it's a story that really kind of shook my faith. Of all the things that a ministers are asked to do, one of the toughest can be visiting people in the hospital, nursing home, or hospice. And it's something that my teacher, Kennedy Schultz, didn't do. He said that when you're in the hospital, that you really need to be in time of meditation for your health, and that a visit for him to you would just be a distraction. Now, honestly, as much as I still admire him, I don't really buy it. I think the reason he didn't go to hospitals that he was worried that despair would overwhelm him. After all, he was, at the time of his ministry, was the height of the AIDS epidemic, and almost half of his congregation died out from under him. So I don't take his advice. I visit people in the nursing homes and hospitals and hospice. And strangely, of all the places that are the most difficult, it is the nursing homes that I find really challenging. Last week, I went to visit a friend. She's lost her ability to communicate and some of her motor skills. And so her family could no longer care for her, and they had to put her into a nursing home. I got there, and she was in the cafeteria along with around 25 other people in wheelchairs being cared for by one single woman. And this young lady was trying to feed them all ice cream. When I told her who I was visiting, she got us into a corner so we could have some privacy, and she asked me to feed my friend the ice cream, which I did. As I was sitting there with her, she tried to tell me something. She said, in fact, she told me, she says, I have something to tell you. But then her ability to communicate failed her, and she burst into tears. And it just ripped my heart out. And I thought to myself, where is God in this situation? Where is God in the life of this really lovely, sweet person? When I looked up, I saw the young attendant trying to care for the 25 people, and she had sat down next to a woman who was completely comatose, and she had roused her up enough so she could have a few bites of chocolate ice cream. And I thought to myself, this is the love of God right before me. I'm sure this young woman has many troubles of her own. She's in a situation where she's being asked to tend to way more people than humanly possible, and I'm sure for not a lot of money. It would have just as been easy for her to overlook this comatose woman. No one would have ever known if she had ice cream or not. But there was something within her heart and soul that she wanted this lady to have the experience of a little cup of ice cream. There is the love of God. And I thought to myself as I witnessed, if she's able to do this, then what is my excuse? As I said, I think Kennedy didn't visit the hospitals because he was fearful he would be overwhelmed by despair. But we shouldn't give in to that fear. Yes, there is despair in these facilities, but we have to rise up and know that we can be channels of God's love and compassion. And it doesn't mean that we have to go in as spiritual teachers or spiritual healers. Sometimes it's just enough to help a friend have a little bit of chocolate ice cream and just to be with them, just be there. That is all that Spirit is asking of us, and that's enough. And when we do our portion, we can turn the rest over to God, knowing that Spirit will show up through love, compassion, and kindness to make a better world, a new heaven and new earth. It's what we've been called to do. And even in the darkest of the night, even in the worst of the storm, if we will lift our eyes up to a better knowing, Spirit will be with us to lead us on. This is the truth in your life today. It's the truth in mine, and so it is.